on the Lemon. Welcome to Piggy Power. If you've not followed the project yet, then this is not going to make much sense this video, but hopefully it will if you're following it. Thanks for following it. The Lemon. You just would have recently seen the cold start video, and you'll have known from that video it doesn't start very well when it's cold. It's okay when it's warm. So my first, and honestly I was pretty convinced it was a compression issue. Admittedly it doesn't sound like it, but just had this inkling, especially as me that's built the engine, I just suspect my own work. So compression test was on the books, so that's what I did. Now it wasn't Oscar winning, but I did do some lovely videography with a lav mic, with my new lighting, in the barn, wind free, conditions were perfect, had it set up lovely, new settings on the camera as per some direction recently I had from an expert, and lovely instructional video on compression tests. And then my computer made all the data corrupt. So, sad face, but it's been done. So basically, I just used a basic kit that anyone can buy really. It's this kit here. It's a compression tester, as you might have sort of seen with petrol cars. And then it's got a little adapter here, which is for the glow plugs on this car. So you take the glow plugs out, which are down the back. So I went down the back there, took the glow plugs out, down here took the breather off. Each glow plug out, wound in the adapter, cranked it over, and we had some good results. Let me show you, we're on the bonnet. There's our compression test results on the bonnet. Now the bottom row, you can see here, was when we first tested it after the rebuild, and we had some starting issues then, and we had one cylinder that was particularly down. Now on the new test, this is 4321 as per PSA testing, so they go from Campbell and 4321. Most of us obviously do it the other way around, but that's what they do. So the cold test, it was absolutely stone cold that we did on the 3rd of February, 300 psi, 300 psi, 320, 330. So that's interesting for me. We also did it, we unplugged the cam sensor so that now the injectors would be firing off. That's interesting because the one that was low on compression is now back up. The other two are the same. This end one has improved very slightly. What's also interesting is that none of them are down. They're all even. It's happy. That's good. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. And pretty content that the compression isn't the issue now. So the next test I'm going to do is a leak-off test. Now, injector number 1, or number 4 to you and me, number 1 in Project at land, we have some weird quantity issues, and it's also the odd injector. So I had 4 refurbished injectors fitted, well I fitted them but I bought them. 3 came from one company and 1 came from another company, as the first company I wanted to use could only supply 3, no matter how I tried. I wanted to give them 1s, etc. Wouldn't go anywhere. Anyway, so anywho, now the train's gone by. So basically the odd injector is giving us odd corrective values when running. What we would say excessive. So I'm going to do a leak-off test and just record those results, and then I've got a spare injector, bit of an unknown. I'll flow that in replacement of that one and see if it starts any better tomorrow, and see what the corrective values are like after doing that. That'll be interesting. I'm hoping it's just an injector. That'd be nice. Who knows? What we've got here is leak-off test preparation in progress here. Let me give you a little rundown of what we've got going on. So basically at the top of each injector, as you can see here, we have leak-off pipes that usually connect one to the other, and they go back down into the fuel system. So there's going to be a little bit of fuel that comes off each injector, which isn't used during the injection process. Now, to put it in layman's terms, if you have a lot of leak-off, i.e. the injector is throwing a lot of fuel out of its leak-off pipe, this is a bad sign. You're looking for an even amount from all of the injectors and not filling these cups up in 3 seconds once it's running. So this is our suspect injector. So in some ways, I'm hoping for confirmation of this suspect injector by this tub filling up dramatically more than the other 3. Soon find out. Fire. you can probably see from the quantities there, the first two are almost the same. The third one is a little bit higher, but nothing like the fourth injector, or injector number 1. And it would have been nice to see all three at these sort of values, and that on its own, but it is a good percentage above. So let me write the figures down, get them level-ish, and I will write the levels on the bonnet, and then we'll discuss. So you can see compression test up here, they're pretty even. If one was down particularly at say 100 psi, or they were all down, or, well, basically those two results, then I'd be worried. But as actually the compression has slightly improved or stayed the same on some cylinders as it was from when we first built it about a year ago, I'm pretty happy. It'd be nice to see around 400 psi, and it would be nice to see the compression build much quicker after 1 or just 2 strokes, but that's not likely to happen really on a build we've done, rather than from the factory or spending thousands and thousands at professional builders. So, you know, I'm happy with that. Leak-off test result, cylinder 4 or 1 for most of us is 3.25, 3.25, 3.5 and 5. Don't actually know what those values are, they're not millilitres obviously, and we've got plus the tubes. But you can clearly see that cylinder number 1, 4 on the gearbox end, if again you're normal like me, is higher. Now it doesn't seem a dramatic amount, you know, if you had 3.5 sweets and then someone gave you 5, you wouldn't notice much difference, but really, in percentage wise, it's more than 50% of the first 2 cylinders and about 50% more than that cylinder. So 50% more is quite a value when we're talking about indirect injection, corrective values, etc. So the next step is going to be to clean all this up. It makes quite a mess, I can assure you, and then chuck in a known set of injectors. A huge shout out, a lot of you know him, to Darren Lobb, who very kindly sent me this set of injectors to borrow. Which is quite something, so I need to send them back today. So I'm going to rip them back out because we tested them. I tested the engine with this set of injectors and no difference. Still doesn't want to start. It's 12 degrees today and it will start. Hasn't been started for a few days, but it's 12 degrees. And I know sort of once it gets above about 10 degrees, it starts okay. It's livable, but it's just doing my head in a little bit. So you might see some videos soon where this wagon, this barge comes into light, literally. There we go. That is my daily for a while, just while we figure out this thing. So I'm going to stick my injectors back in it now, and then we're going to do some live data testing. I could do with a cold spot again really, otherwise we're stuffed. To test the rail pressure sensor, fuel pressure regulator and the fuel pump. Could be any of those, potentially playing fun with us when it's cold. So that's the idea. So today I'm just going to whip these injectors out, try a different ECU as well, no different as far as I'm aware, but like I say, the temperature is better today. So there's a little bit of a boring update on the Lemon, but that's where we're at. Compression was okay, glow plugs work, we tried that sort of odd injector, but that doesn't seem to be the issue, especially with another set of injectors here. So we're down to rail pressure when cranking issues. Any ideas welcome.